this Biden stuff. Biden's cognitive decline. Does Biden have Parkinson or not? There's a Parkinson's disease specialist at the White House every month for the last 8 months. Setting this up, Brian, if it was just like a one-off appointment, okay. But every month to me indicates some level of treatment for some sort. I'm just speculating, of course, but why is he there every month, first of all? And there's only one 81-year-old in the White House. So what is your take on all of this craziness, and what are the national security implications for all of us?
Well, let's start with that, because that really, I think, is one of the most important aspects of this conversation. We need a full-time commander-in-chief. His own Democrat newspapers like New York Times, Washington Post say we have a part-time commander-in-chief. He operates from about, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. That's a problem, obviously. So let's step back and look at this issue, not from an American lens, but let's say that we're a German intel officer, a Chinese intel officer. If they had some of the pieces that we all now know, we have what we can see with our eyes, right? Joe Biden clearly physically declining over the past 5+ years. His verbal gaffes are not just verbal gaffes. The guy gets lost like he's in the jungle looking for some sort of Mayan treasure. He can't never find it. So, we also add some of these now indicators around very specific kinds of neurologists going to the White House repeatedly. We also know that the Biden family homes in places like Delaware do not have visitor logs, so we are unable to track who's going in and out of those facilities.
Wow, that's a good point.
You add up all of these different pieces, and if you were a foreign intel officer, and by the way, when he goes abroad and he meets with foreign folks, we have very, very notable reporting now from NATO officials saying this guy is just basically the hamster up that's turning the wheel up. He's taking a nap. The Biden is not coherent many times. He's not functional. So you put that all together, and they know that both our adversaries and allies alike know that the United States is weak. We have a part-time commander-in-chief. So if there were ever a time to push the envelope on all kinds of national security issues that they would want to advance, like China trying to take back Taiwan, like the Iranians trying to push out the Israelis, destroy the Israeli state, Moscow looking to do more in Ukraine, the moment is now. And that's a very important thing for us all to remember, that this isn't just a Republican versus a Democrat thing. We're talking about a world-changing event, because we got two wars going on, one in Ukraine, one in Israel, of course, and then we have the possibility of one in Taiwan. So this is a really big deal, not just because we're Republicans or Democrats, but because the fate of the world is at stake, and we got a guy in the White House who can't figure it out.
So, Brian, what do the Democrats do? So here's my read on the situation. In the lead into the show, I said the Democrats' own actions in this moment shows a disdain for their own electoral process and the will of the voters and all. Because millions of people voted for Biden, so that's one. But if the people around Biden, influential people in power who maybe weren't elected, if they admit that Biden is in cognitive decline, or God forbid has Parkinson's or something like that, to me, it's immediately disqualifying. He needs to resign as president, and his campaign is over before the July 21st nominating procedure. And also, but the Democrats' own actions, we don't even have to have a diagnosis, but the Democrats' own actions saying that he should step aside because he doesn't have what it takes to run. If he doesn't have what it takes to be a candidate, he sure as hell doesn't have what it takes to be commander-in-chief. So what do the Democrats do here?
Well, that's their political pickle. It's also the national security crisis that we were just talking about. The political pickle here is that they have to decide, can they take this guy down and put Kamala up, knowing, politically speaking, that she is less popular amongst black folks in this country than Joe Biden is. So
right.
They've got, and that's not some partisan needling there. That's just data.
It's fact.
Right. So the point is they've got a political problem. They desperately believe that Donald Trump is a Nazi. He is the new Hitler. He is going to destroy America. The country is lost if he gets elected. That is the rhetoric. We've heard that now for 8 years or so. They really believe it. So they're caught in sort of a Salem witch trial like hysteria and panic. And so they have to win this election in their minds. As we talked about last time, there's also the Senate, and of course then the Supreme Court that they would lose even more. So the stakes are huge for them. That's why they've got to prop this guy up. And we've seen this around the world, by the way. Lots of regimes and ruling families go through this. When the guy at the top is real sick and can't continue on, they get behind-the-scene regents. It happened in this country back with President Woodrow Wilson, his wife taking the control of the presidency for many years after his secret stroke. So it is not unprecedented in this country, nor is it abroad. But let's just be very honest. That is what's happening. The Democrat Party is trying to prop up what is effectively a cadaver at this point, and they're trying to surround him with regents that would effectively run the country. We can call that the deep state, the administrative state, which is supposed to be some grand, conservative conspiracy theory, but it's not. We are now having people in the press talk about, look, when you elect a president, you're electing his team. His team. There was a piece out today, I think it was in Politico, that talked about that you actually elect the team. Okay. Well, so let's just be honest that that's what we're talking about now, that Biden is just sort of a puppeteered figure for a few hours a day. The rest of the time he's eating pudding and he thinks it's 1982. So that's important for us to all think about when we go then to the ballot box. And so far, most Democrats aren't happy about that. His support is not strong in the sense of they wish they could replace him. But most polling show they're going to stick with this guy. I think 86, 88% of Democrats, even though they know his mind is pudding. So they are trying to just get him to the finish line and then figure out the political problem after November once Trump is firmly dispatched.
Mike Lindell here, and like you, I see our country being destroyed daily. We face massive economic issues, and I can tell you from firsthand experience, there are people in power who threaten the values that have made our country great. Well, I've been a believer in gold and silver for a long time, and I've searched for years for a partner that shares my values. Well, Genesis Gold Group showed me how easy it is to protect your IRA, 401k, or your retirement with gold and silver. Their faith-driven approach to service and stewardship is one that stands out from the rest.
To get your free definitive gold guide and get started learning more about investing in gold and protecting your retirement from uncertain times, visit treasureandtrust.com now. Fill out the basic contact form and a member of the team will be in touch. Again, that's treasureandtrust.com or call 855-625-7760.